Hi, my name is Anthony Tyler. I got the Master's in Arts and Technology at UTD. I studied mainly 3D animation and film, but also a lot of game development and production. And when I first started here, the school was really small. Like, I was actually what they considered a stealth student. Like when I was here, not even the undergraduate program was here yet, so it was really, really small. Like I think the first few classes I took, I think there was maybe 6 classes total with maybe 30 students, most of which overlapped in all the classes. So not very many, probably less than 100. So I graduated with my master's in 2004, I think. And started my work on my PhD. So kind of on hiatus, trying to finish that up, working on my comps. Right after I kind of wrapped up the coursework for my PhD, I went to work at an animation production house called DNA, where they were working on the feature film Ant Bully. And that's pretty much where I've stuck to. Currently I'm working at Dreamworks Animation, where I do mostly what they call technical directing. But for us, that's pretty much just pipeline engineering and software development, and a little bit of just troubleshooting artistic problems. I have no idea. So I got an email from Dreamworks. I believe it might have been, my name might have been put in a hat a while ago by another artist who came from UT Dallas. His name was Dieter Brown. He may have put my name in. He doesn't remember doing it, but they must have got it somehow. Anyways, they sent me an email. They were looking for like technical directors out the wazoo. They had like this big stereo initiative, and they were staffing up for it. Plus, the movies that they were working on were much, much bigger than the stuff that they've been doing before. So, but anyways, get the email. And they asked if I was interested in a job, and I replied that I was. And they flew me out there. I did a couple of phone interviews, maybe one phone interview, and then they flew me out there for a round of on-site interviews. That's pretty much how I got it. I mean, I talked to them. They all seemed to enjoy me, and I enjoyed the campus and the people that I was talking to. So. Seemed like the right thing. So I think at Dreamworks we have maybe 1,300, 1,400 employees, not just including production, but like all the staffing and stuff that needs to go around to support it. And that includes both the Glendale studios and the PDI studios up in San Francisco. I mean, I don't think you can get a job without it, really. That's certainly how I've gotten all my jobs. Networking is essential to everything, and not just on our industry either. I mean, but the way I got my first job at DNA was the instructor who was there at the time was working there and came in and was like, "Hey, is anybody interested in a render wrangler position?" And I was like, "Well, I guess." So I filled out, got a job. I mean, I don't know how else I would have gotten all the contacts I got without having friends everywhere. I've gotten offers from companies like EA Games, Real Effects, things like that. But I wouldn't have any of that if I hadn't talked to everybody. Communication and networking is essential in our industry. We're so cliquey, and so everybody knows everybody. Like, oh, I know that person from OSU or from SCAD or whatever. It's amazing. Like, I work at DNA and I make some friends, and then I go out to DreamWorks, and then there's so many people that know all those people that I was working with, and it's just bizarre because when you start telling the story and they're like, "Oh, you're talking about that guy," I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. It's pretty intense. Everybody knows everybody. It's a very small industry. Our industry is weathering better than most because people want small vacations, and since they can't afford a real vacation, it's really expensive to go to Disney World or whatever. But $8, $12 for a price of admission. The films are really good at altering people's moods. make them happy, make them sad, bring them back to happy, and then they feel like they've gone on some sort of nice vacation. Stereo is also helping with that, having the 3D immersive experience really enhances that. So we've definitely fared it better than most, but we're still seeing some job loss. But all in all, I think we're weathering it pretty well. There's definitely jobs that you can find. Dreamworks is one of those great places too, where they can. We have the effects challenge where they bring in loads of people to like new kids to come in and like try out their system and see what they can do, and if they do well, they pretty much hire them. And that's not they get a cream of the crop kids. We've brought in, I can think of at least 10 in the last 2 or a year and a half that I've been there. So Dreamworks is really good, particularly about bringing on new talent and getting them up and running. They're really good about that. There's a few people from Arts and Technology program that are out there now. Dieter Brown, he's just moved on to a different company where he's trying to seek new things. But he got his job about, it was like two and a half years ago maybe. I'm not real sure what his story was as far as like how he got his job, but I think he just had a really awesome demo reel from his work here, and then he also did some schooling at Animation Mentor. He had a really great reel, and they hired him. And then just about 6 months ago, maybe, Steve Petterborg got a job. He got a recommendation from me. I had him turn in his resume because I knew they were looking for technical people, and Steve's cream of the crop. So I got his resume and turned it in, and then vouched for him and stuff. And that's pretty much what happened. So again, networking comes big into play. Also having the right skill set, being ready at any point in time, with your reel, having all that stuff ready to go, it's important. But the networking is what causes those opportunities to happen. So, well, at DNA, it was like the next day. I submitted my resume at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and they called me immediately, like at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and said, "Hey, can you come in?" And then at Dreamworks, I think it was maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks. They take, they try to get everybody together because the initial interview usually happens pretty quick, so maybe about a week. But then after that, like for them to put together like all of these people that end up talking, because when you do like the group interview stuff, I think they may have like 8 or 10 people that come in and talk to you at different times. So it's like it's a pretty big ordeal. And then for me, they flew me out there, which they do for some people. Some people they'll just do like video conferencing. Just kind of depends on what fits best at that moment. But when they do that, obviously it can take longer. They have to find the appropriate facilities and things like that. So I'd imagine after your first interview, you might hear back from them 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. It just kind of depends. If they're not in a hiring rush, like at the time I got hired, they were like, really looking for TDs, like most of the industry was. But when they're just looking for regular talent, it can take a while. I think they have maybe biweekly, reel reviews, but so it could be a while. Depending on how you turn it in. If you turn it in at SIGGRAPH, it may take longer just because they have a lot more stuff to go through. If you have a friend on the inside who says, check this guy out, he's really good, maybe it might go faster. Usually it does, but you never know.